I understand if someone says something offensive, if someone says something racial, if someone does something stupid, it is offensive, right? I get that. I completely get that. There's Jana Brazler right there, by the way. I understand that. But can we let the process weigh out? And also, note this. Earlier today, the campus police there at Mizzou, they sent out an email saying that if anyone sees hate speech or hate actions, they're to contact the police. And if it's an emergency hate speech situation or hate action situation, they're to call 911. So at Mizzou, right now, if social justice warriors have their feelings, I don't know, if they're offended, if something hurts their feelings, they're actually being instructed to call the police. Interesting thing to note about Melissa Click, I received a phone call today on my radio program from a police sergeant in St. Louis, Missouri. His daughter attends Mizzou. His daughter also had a class earlier this year with Melissa Click, a class which she promptly dropped when she was mocked and ridiculed in that classroom by Melissa Click because she was a police sergeant's daughter and because she disagreed with Click's discussion in class that Mike Brown was actually a complete innocent individual and the cops acted wrongly. Click also stated in class that police were racist and therefore continued the ridiculing and mocking of this police sergeant's daughter, who felt that it was her responsibility to not only stick up for her father, but to also stick up for the police, and the girl promptly dropped that class. This is one thing that we're seeing on college campuses, and students are not understanding. I made the remark earlier that if we ever got into World War III, we as a country are going to get our asses kicked because we have a bunch of thin-skinned, lily-livered pansies who can't even take an insult. Just because someone is a backwoods racist does not mean that it is illegal. That is the double-edged sword of freedom. You take the good with the bad. You take people who think that leggings are pants and the people who wear Christian Louboutins. You take the people who love the Dickies and people who think that Green Day is actual punk music. The good and the bad. And just because someone says something offensive to you does not mean it is illegal. It is not illegal to be offensive. Offensiveness is completely subjective. What I think is offensive is probably a hell of a lot different than what some of these social justice warriors think is offensive. I think ignorance is offensive. I think purposeful segregation playing out on modern-day college campuses is offensive. I think people like Melissa Click are offensive. If offensiveness was an actionable crime, Chuck Schumer would be sitting in jail. Harry Reid would be sitting in jail. Janine Garofalo would be sitting in jail. Michael Moore would be sitting in jail. Do we understand this? Because then it would be predicated upon whoever was in charge and making these decisions based upon what their perception of offensiveness is. It is a purely subjective term. And in today's society, the modern construct is that anything that offends your feelings or your delicate sensibilities is so offensive that it should be considered actionable. And that is the situation in which we find ourselves on college campus after college campus. And the difference here with this particular story is that this is a publicly funded university, and Missouri taxpayers are having to foot the bill for this BS.